Hi everyone, today we're going to be starting Number Corner. So first I need you to get out your math notebook and get the label that I made for you and put it on a composition notebook like this, or any other notebook that you have is fine. Okay, so you're going to want to get out your math notebook. Then you're also going to want to look at that math packet that I sent home. In that math packet you should have a calendar grid observations form that looks like this. And then you should also have two graphs that look like this. There's not writing on this one. I just went ahead and wrote on it for today's lesson, but they're both blank that you need to put into your notebook. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video, find those supplies if you need to, and glue them or tape them into your notebook. So on the first page you're going to have your observations, and then on the next two pages you're going to have your graphs. Okay, once you've found those and you are ready, we are going to look at our first two cards for our number corner. The first one that I pulled is this. Okay, I'll give you a minute to think about what this is and what we're going to write. And look at your calendar grid observations too. We're going to be writing what the model is, the description, and an equation. So how can we write a model, description, and equation from this picture? I'll give you a second. Okay. Let's look at our calendar grid observations. If you need more time, you can always pause the video at any time. Okay, so everybody put your finger on the date over here. Today's date is September 1st. So when we write that in numbers, we're going to just put 9-1. 9-1. Okay, and our model for this is going to be a loop. It's called a loop. So we spell that L-O-O-P. So under model, you're going to write loop. So I have my date, and then I have my loop. And my description for this is I have one loop. The loop is the circle, and one star. So one loop and one star. That's what I'm going to write for my description. One loop with one star. Okay, so it should look like this. One loop with one star. Okay, and then my equation. So we use loops and groups for multiplication. So if I have one loop with one star, my equation is just going to be 1 times 1 equals 1. And I'm going to label that star because the star is in the middle of the loop. Okay? If you need to pause the video to finish that, go ahead and do that. Make sure you're writing in nice and neat handwriting. I will be looking at these notebooks when you come back to school, so don't get behind. All right, our next one. We're not going to write the date for the next one because we might do one calendar activity. We might do two, which we're just depending. So we're still under 9-1. Okay, so this is our card for number 2. We have bikes and wheels. So then we have 1 question mark, 2, 4, and then 3 and 6. So take a second and think about what the model might be, what our description might be, and what our equation might be for this. All right, so this is called a ratio table. So we spell that R-A-T-I-O, ratio, and then table. Okay, this is called a ratio table. Okay, so we have, let's think about our description. We have right here 2 bikes and 4 wheels, and 3 bikes and 6 wheels. So if we have one bike, how many wheels do we have? Give you a second to think about it. Okay, your answer should be 2. So we're going to have one bike with 2 wheels. So in my description, I'm going to write one bike and then 2 with 2 wheels. You kind of have to write tiny in those little spaces. One bike with 2 wheels. So this is how my table looks now. I have one date, and then I have my 2 cards. Ratio table, one bike with 2 wheels. Okay? And if I have one bike with 2 wheels, what do you think my equation is going to be? Take a second. So look at 2 and then 4 and then 3 and 6, and what do you think we're multiplying by? Okay, well I know 2 times 2 is 4, and 3 times 2 is 6, so we must be looking at 1 times 2 is 2. So under my equation, I'm going to do 1 times 2 equals 2, and then I'm going to put wheels. I kind of don't have room for it. So I'm going to squeeze it in there. So here I have 1 times 2 equals 2, and then I squeezed wheels in there. Okay. If you need to pause the video and catch up, go ahead and do that. Again, don't get behind. Okay. For our next part, we are going to be looking at one of our graphs, which is why I filled this one in already. Okay, so we are going to be talking about how you like to learn math. And so we kind of talked about that when we did the glyphs. So do you like to work alone? Do you like to work with a partner? Do you like to work in small groups? Or do you like to work as a whole class? So I put a survey out on Schoology. If you filled it out, great. If not, that's fine too. But look out for those because it might be towards our number corner. But anyway, we are going to be doing our graph based on how we like to learn math. So our graph we're going to put in, it's going to be in our notebook like this, but then when we're working with it, we're going to turn it sideways like this. So when we're doing a graph, we always want to make sure we're labeling and putting titles for our data. So ways we like to work in class should be our title. Okay, over here is different ways to work. So then I have alone, with a partner, in small groups, or whole class. And then down here, these numbers represent the number of people. Okay? So I have my category label right here, my scale label right here, and then my graph title right here. So go ahead and take a second, pause the video if you need to, and write in all of those titles and labels. Okay, if you need more time, that's fine. Just pause the video. Alright, so on the survey that I did on Schoology, I found that 0 people like to work alone. So under my alone tab right here, I'm not going to put any because no one liked to work alone. Okay, well 6 people said that they liked to work with a partner. So I'm going to look at my partner, I'm going to find the number 6, and I'm going to fill that in. Notice that the scale is going by 2s, not by 1s. So I'm going to go 2, 4, and then 6. And I'm just going to fill that in nice and neat. Okay, so my graph should look like this now. So 6 people like to work with a partner when they're learning math. Alright, let's talk about small groups. So I had 3 people on our survey say that they like to work in small groups when they're doing math. So I'm going to get a different color. You can use crayons, markers, whatever you like. I'm going to use green this time. And I'm going to do 3. 3 kids like to work in small groups. So I'm going to do 2. And then I'm going to do 3. Okay. So my scale goes up by 2s. So right here, I had to just go halfway to show 3, because if I went up more, then it would have shown 4. So I had to go halfway right there to show 3. Okay? And then whole class. So 3 people said that they liked to work as a whole class when they're learning math. So I'm going to get another color. I'm going to use pink this time. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 3. So I'm going to go up to 2. And then I'm going to go halfway to show 3, because I don't want it to look like it's 4. So we're going to go halfway to 3. Okay, so your graph should look like this. So when we read this, we know that 0 people reported that they like to work alone during math. We know that 6 people like to work with a partner. We know that 3 people like to work in small groups. And then we know that 3 people like to work as a whole class. All right, so I'll let you look at this one more time. Fill it in. Don't forget your labels are really important. Your title up here and then your 2 labels over here. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. You don't need to submit this, but again, when you come back to school, I will be looking at them, so please don't get behind. All right. Have a good day.